What's going on, my dudes? This is Mr. Gardner, and this is Math Time with Mr. G. Today, we're just going to do some quadratic vocab. So, what's the difference between quadratic versus linear? Linear and other functions can only go to a max of 3 quadrants. That means that no matter how I draw a line, it can only enter 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. That's the max it could ever go into. If it goes perfectly through the origin, only 1, 2. So that's linear. Quadratic means it can go through all 4 quadrants. So quadratic means it can go through all 4 quadrants of a graph. A parabola is a U-shaped quadratic. So I have my graph and it makes a U shape. That is a parabola. My vertex is either going to be the very bottom of my parabola or the very top. So it's the min or max of my parabola. The parent function is the most basic, simple parabola, and then we build off of that. So the equation for our parent function is, and then our axis of symmetry is from our vertex, the invisible line that goes down, and it's when our parabola starts going from down back up, or when it starts going from up back down. What's the difference between an exponent and a parabola? Let's say I gave you the equation 2 to the power of x. So now I'm just going to plug in some values into my exponential function and see how it turns out. So it starts off super slow growing and then it's going to quickly build. But let's say I go in the negative direction. It's going to quickly decay and become very small, but never quite reach 0. Now let's look at a parabola example. It quickly grows, but at a different rate. It's growing at the rate of x versus the rate of 2. But let's see if it goes negative. It doesn't go microscopically small. It just grows in the negative direction back up. So these numbers don't become fractions. They exponentially grow in the opposite direction. So the difference between compress and stretch is dependent on the parent function. And the parent function will always be a is equal to 1. So when I said y is equal to x squared, there's an invisible 1 right here, which means I go up 1 over 1 and create my exponential in one direction. And because it's a U shape, I have to do it in the opposite direction. So up 1 over 1. Compressed means that I took that function and I flattened it out. For compressed functions, that is when a is less than 1, so a fraction. Stretch means I take my parent function and I make it super skinny. And that means when a is bigger than 1, so generally a whole number. Let me know if you have any questions, hit me up in the comment section. But other than that, be kind to each other, ask lots of questions, and think deeply.